Hi guys, Mrs. Renfro here again, and I want to do part two for lesson five. Just a real quick work through on some of the problems so that you can get started on your homework. Hopefully you didn't have too many problems with these, and hopefully you got your homework turned in, which was this page, page 391. If you haven't turned that in yet, get that in as quickly as you can so that can get graded and put into Skyward. And just to let you know, Miss Westbrook, and I think Miss Westbrook is the only one, but she has been putting grades in to Skyward for me. She's been getting the homework graded and put in there so you know a little bit quicker if you've turned things in, so we don't forget about them and not get them done in time. Okay. So she is getting that done, and you should know if you have any missing assignments. And then you can quickly take a look in your book and see if the assignments are still there, or if they're in your folder, maybe you didn't get them turned in. But make sure you have everything turned in and you get it returned with a grade on it. So that way you know you do have it. Okay. All right. So we are doing, like I said, the second part. So I'm going to go over some stuff with guided practice. Page 390 is where I'm at right now. And if I hold the pen the right way, I can write with it. Okay. All right. So with this guided practice on page 390, it says fill in the bubble with less than, greater than, or equal to make a true statement. So we have 9.7 and negative 10.3. And if you think of a number line, you have your negative numbers here, you have 0 here, and you have your positive numbers here, right? So since this is a positive number and that's a negative number, everything to the right is bigger than everything to the left. So 9.7 is greater than 10.3. Same thing with this one. We have a positive fraction and a negative fraction. Positives are bigger than negatives, so greater than. Now here, these are both negatives. We have 6.7, negative 6.7, and negative 6 and 7 tenths. If you change these both to fractions or both to decimals, whichever you want to do it, if you change it to a decimal, you'll find out this is negative 6.7, 7 tenths. Okay, so those are equal. And you have negative 5.6 and negative 0.94. So probably the easiest thing to do would be to change this to a decimal. So 5 divided by 6. And let me get my calculator here. Oh, my battery's about dead. 5 divided by 6 is 0.83 with a line over the 3, and it's negative 2. Now, this one, the eights, we start here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you look at just that first digit, that helps you. You have the 9 and you have the 8. So the 8 would be closer to 0 than the 9. So the 8, negative 8, is going to be a little bit bigger. So that is bigger. Okay. And that's how I do these. I look at just the first digit first. If they're the same, then go to the second digit. But if they're different, like this, the 8 and the 9, you can figure that out just by looking at that first digit. Okay. Now for this type of problem, I would change them all to decimals and go from there. So negative 3 1/3 is going to be negative 3. I believe it's 0.3. Let's see, 1 divided by 3. Yeah, 0.3. Oops. So 0.3 with a line over the 3. Then we have 3.3 with no line. Then we have negative 3 and 3/4. So that's going to be negative 3.75. And then we have positive 3.5. So we have two positives and two negatives. Let's see, we're going from least to greatest. So we know that the negatives are going to be the smallest. So the farthest to the left, if you had 3.3, you would have 3 and then 3.1, 3.2, 3.3. So that one would be here. And then you would keep going 3.3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 3.75, oops, is going to be clear over here. So that's going to be the smallest. Negative 3.75 is the smallest. Then negative 3.3 with the line over it. Then we go to the positives. We've got 3 and 3. Those are the same. And then the 3 and 5. So we'd have 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, 3.4, 0.5. So 3.5 would be just a little bit farther over to the right. So it's going to be the biggest. So we want to start with the 3.3, and then the very biggest number is 3.5. So this right here would be your answer for those. Okay. And you do the same thing with this one. Change those all to decimals and figure out on your number line which one is biggest and which is smallest. You want to start with the least and then go to the biggest. Number 7, Steve recorded these amounts in his checkbooks: negative 6.50, $7, negative 6.75, and $7.25. Order these least to greatest. Okay. So if you're looking again at the number line, the most to the left, the smallest, is going to be negative 6.75, and put your dollar sign on there. And then negative 6.50. Okay. Then we go to the positives. We have $7. And then we have 7.25. 7.25 is more than $7. There we go. So that's your order for that. Okay. All right. And then it says, how can a number line help in ordering rational numbers? Just like I showed you up here, you can see that the more to the left, the more negative a number is, the smaller it is. The farther to the right it is, the more positive it is, the bigger the number is going to be. And that just shows you that when you look at it visually. Okay. All right. So your homework. Hold on here. We're doing 393, I believe it was. Yep. Page 393. And you are going to do 17 through 28. And let me just take a quick look over here. They've given you a number line for this one. Again, you're finding out which sign goes in here and just put it in there. Okay. You can do a number line if you'd like to help you. You don't have to. I would change them to decimals. If you have a decimal and a fraction, change them both to decimals to make it a little bit easier. This one, order them from least to greatest. Again, I would change them to decimals to be able to figure out the numbers. 24 is a word problem. The average amount of time Brent spent in line skating for 1 week was 34 minutes. During the next week, the difference between the average time and the actual time spent skating was 4.2 minutes. So, we got 4.2 minutes, negative 5 and 1/3 minutes, negative 2.5 minutes, and 3.75 minutes. Okay, so order these differences from least to greatest. So you're just going to take these numbers, 4.2, 5 and 1/3, negative 5 and 1/3, negative 2.5, and 3.75, and put them in order from the smallest to the biggest. Okay. And then here again, we're going to make it either less than, greater than, or equal to for those. And then 28, you're using this table right here it shows the profit or loss of the after school snack stand. So write each profit as a positive number and each loss as a negative number. Okay, so all the losses you're going to put negatives in front of. Okay, and then order them from least to greatest. Okay, all right, and that's your homework. And that's it for this week. So I hope you get this done, turned in on Monday, and have a great weekend.